What's up, guys? I'm BTC. We got a bunch of information from Blizzard about Overwatch this week, and surprisingly, a lot of it was good, which is very nice. It's a nice change of pace to be able to talk about good stuff in this game that we're all trying to play. Instead of having to constantly point out all the dumb stuff that Blizzard's been doing, they're finally making some good changes. So first thing is a brand new map. It's an Antarctica map. It's a control point map as well. I'm going to put some video in the background. You can take a look at it. I'll probably talk more about it when the map actually gets released, and I'll go through and just kind of point out some of the stuff and whatever. And also, we're getting a new battle pass, which is going to have a bunch of improvements that are going to add legacy currency and this and that and whatever as rewards. And again, I'll talk about that a little bit more when we actually see it, because I have a feeling that it's definitely going to be better. Like, there's no question that the new battle pass is going to be better, but I think there's still going to be some problems with it. I know for a fact there's going to be some problems with it. But again, we'll talk about that at another time. But in this one, I want to talk about what the Overwatch dev team has just released, which is the fact that they are getting rid of the map pools. Now, for some weird reason, they're going to wait until Season 4 to do this. I don't know why they're going to do that. Like, they could just flip a switch, right? And make it so that you can use it in Season 3. Because we're going to lose a couple of maps in Season 3. And again, like, I don't know why. Like, can't you just, like, put the button, like, flip it from off to on so we can have all the maps in Season 3? Right? Like, why do you have to wait until Season 4 to flip the switch? Like, can you just flip it right now? What is it, like, is it in the room with you? Can you reach over and just flip the switch and turn the map on, please? But basically, and I talked about this before, the map pools create this kind of artificial scarcity, sort of, in a way, where a lot of people have been wanting to play Numbani, and they couldn't. For weeks and weeks and weeks, they couldn't play it because it wasn't in the map pool, which is really dumb. And you have people that enjoy that map. I don't particularly care for it myself, but there are a lot of people that like that map, and you just can't play it. And now they're excited because it's coming back in Season 3, and, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you removing content that we already had access to, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But they've realized that they just put out a statement today. They realize the map pools are dumb and they're going to get rid of them. But again, they're not going to completely get rid of them until Season 4 for whatever reason. Now, another thing that got brought up was the map freak. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we even get into that, I think they should go one step further than having the map pools, like getting rid of the map pools. People should be able to choose what maps they want to play on. Now, it should have some sort of limitation, right? Like, you can't just pick one map, right? You can't play DE Dust 24/7. If you want to play, Numbani and Kings Row and this and that and whatever, that's fine. You have to pick, like, at minimum of 4 or 5 maps or whatever it happens to be. So that way, the time for queuing up and all that sort of stuff doesn't get ridiculously stretched out. It takes 20, 30 minutes to find a map or nothing like that, match or nothing like that. But they should have it so that you get to pick the maps you want to play on, or at least have it kind of like a reverse system where you can exclude the maps you don't want to play on. Like, I really, really don't want to play on this, this, and this, and make it so that you can X out 3 of the maps, and I don't want to play these maps at all. That way you don't get queued into them. I think that would be a pretty good thing, and it wouldn't affect the queue times all that much. And it would just greatly increase the amount of enjoyment that people have when they're playing the game if they know they're not going to queue into a map that they absolutely hate. But anyways, getting back, the Overwatch devs did talk about the map frequency and how some of the push maps have been popping up a lot more than what they probably should be. And this, they kind of looked at it and they thought, no, we didn't, the Overwatch dev said, we never changed anything. We never made it so that the new maps are popping up more on purpose and this and that. There's not any kind of increased percentage. But they went and looked at the code and they found out that one of their systems actually was doing exactly that. It was unintentional, but it actually was doing exactly that. So if you've been queuing into the matches and you keep getting push maps and you don't want to play push because a lot of people don't like that game mode, you're not alone, because apparently the whole system has been accidentally and unintentionally giving you more push maps than you were supposed to. Because basically what it does is it looks at not just the maps that you've been playing, but also the map types, like the game modes. and it says, well, if you haven't played this, then we're going to put you into this game mode. So what ends up happening is basically because there are less push maps and this and that, it kind of goes into a system of, well, all the players in this haven't been playing, they didn't play push last time, so we're going to put them into push. And that kind of happens, but it seems to be increasing the frequency of the amount of time that you get put into push maps. Now, Blizzard is aware of this, and they're going to try to fix it, but they have no idea when they're going to be able to. So, for the foreseeable future, you can expect that you will get put into push maps more frequently than the other types of game modes, just because the system's kind of broken, and it's doing that. So, unfortunately, that's how it is. Again, all of this could be solved if you just let players pick what maps they wanted to queue for, and you wouldn't have to worry about that. Everybody would get to play on the maps that they want to, and you wouldn't run into these situations where people have to play game modes that they hate. And then the next thing is about changing around the spawn rooms. So for some maps, they've discovered that there are issues where when you're defending and you don't know if the enemy team, the attackers, are going to end up capturing the point, and should you run all the way back from your spawn room to that first point, or should you just try to regroup with your teammates and this and that and whatever. So what they're looking at is adding some extra routes into the maps. So what can happen is particularly the ones with very long travel distance from the defender spawn room to whatever capture point happens to be up for grabs at that point in time. So what they're going to do is they're going to kind of modify the maps a little bit so that the defenders will now have an extra route, a faster way to get back to the point, and the attackers won't be able to use that, however, because that does bring up the problem. Well, if you create a new route that it's faster for the defenders to get there, well, then now you have the attackers who can use that as an extra flanking route, and they don't want that to happen. So what's probably going to end up happening is kind of what we've seen on some of the other maps. Like, for example, what comes to mind right away is Junkertown, right? When you bring the payload into the city part, then you have that big door that closes. And I have a feeling that they could very easily do that for a lot of these maps. They could have it so that there's a door or something else that simply closes off after the point gets captured. And that way the attackers can't use it for an extra flanking route, but the defenders can still use it in order to get to the other point faster or whatever, have more options in order to defend and that sort of stuff. So that's what they're planning on doing, but obviously when they have to modify the maps, that takes a great deal of work, and it's not going to happen for Season 3. It might happen in Season 4. My guess is it probably won't even happen until Season 5. So we're looking decent ways away before that is going to happen. And that is... Well, actually, no, there is one other thing that they mentioned here, which is the rewards for the special game modes, like the event challenges and stuff, and how a lot of those rewards are focused specifically on the game mode itself. Like, in order to get the rewards for the Battle of Olympus game mode, then you had to play the game mode. But there were people who would have liked to have those character rewards, those cosmetics, who didn't want to play the game mode, right? They might have wanted to have the Mercy skin or maybe some of the voice lines or the sprays or whatever, but they didn't particularly like that game mode. So what they're going to do is they're going to make it so that even though the rewards are kind of tied into that special event, they're not going to make it so that all the rewards need to be earned through that special event. So if you don't like Battle for Olympus, for example, you wouldn't have to play that in order to unlock the skins or the sprays or the voice lines or something. You could still play Quick Play or the arcade or, competitive or whatever, and you would be able to unlock those extra things. What do you guys think about all of these changes, the removing of the map pool, and do you think they should just let people queue for the maps they actually want to play? Let me know down below.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and